think Trogdor and Ivan, I mean, that is a very competitive and close matchup. And with c0smoh and wulfy, I mean, things can always go either way. But it'll be really interesting to see what different choices each of the runners makes based on the relative positioning of their PBs. If wulfy chooses to maybe take more safeties and maybe rely on movement, or if c0smoh maybe decides to throw a little caution to the wind.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. We'll see a couple route divergences here. There's a good chance to see one between c0smoh and wulfy, depending on, like you were saying, safeties and whatnot. As far as Trogdor and Ivan go, these two are very familiar with each other. Both are, I would say, top-tier Mega Man runners, especially within Mega Man X2. They both have very high times in that. So they definitely know what to expect competitive-wise between the two. So that match should be really, really good to watch here.
Oh yeah, not only are they very close in PB, being from similar communities. I actually didn't know that about Ivan. I know Ivan does some Super Metroid. He, I guess, is very good at a number of games. But looks like the runners are on their way, all talking to the uncle now. Looks like we got the streams all synced up. So we're going to see them do the escape here. They're going to go into the bottom of the dungeon, rescue the princess, and abscond with her through the back of the castle throne room, and make their way to the sanctuary. At least that's what I hope to see all four of them do. And so most of the early part of the game here, the first 6 minutes really until they get to the sanctuary, is really just pure movement, reading some RNG patterns like here on the screen with these green guards, trying to minimize the number of times you need to slash your sword, and really it's just frames here and there, but there's not too many places where the runners are going to pick up or lose large amounts of time, provided they stay safe.
Yeah, like the major thing in Escape is avoiding the soldiers. Don't let them get in your way. I mean, you have RNG to worry about. You have some RNG from the rats, the key rat in the sewers. For the most part, just execution based.
Yeah. Key rat. Every time key rat. Always northwest.
Time key rat. First item they'll be grabbing is the Bloomerang here, which you can do some pretty nifty stuff with the Bloomerang in Escape, specifically like we were talking there with the key rat and that key there that drops off the soldier, especially also with the big key drop here coming up on the chainball dude.
Yeah, we could say the Bloomerang is a very key item for their time saves early on in the game.
Trogdor going for the 2-pot kill on the chainball guy.
It's one you don't see too often. A lot of 8-slash kills. Don't see the 2-pot very often. I like it though.
Yeah, it's a little bit slower, but it's consistent. You don't have to worry about getting those slashes in, and you can just, I mean, you're hurling a pot at his head. I mean, it's pretty fun.
And we now know that we have Ivan's audio here. We see Ivan is down to 1 heart, has calculated the damage he's taking, and is going to try and save some frames in Sanctuary here if he keeps his health low. The other runners in comparatively slightly safer health situations. So shout-outs to Ivan for the lovely beeping audio.
So as they make their way to the sewers in the back end of Escape, just another quick rundown, a little brief history. So c0smoh has been running the NMG for about 5 months now. And to have the 148 in about 5 months shows that definitely been keeping up with it. Also runs Celeste as well, which is one of the newer speedruns. wulfy, top tier NMG runner with a 128. So we'll definitely be seeing some optimal strats from him as well.
Yeah, I see Conster in chat mentioning you do save some frames if you do beep strats. The dialogue does proceed just a little bit faster. Not exactly sure why, but when you get to Sanctuary, you do save a few frames. But looks like Ivan has decided to spare us the beeping and pick up the safety heart in the pot.
What a guy.
I'm sure it will not be the last time we get beeping throughout the run. There will probably be plenty of beeps to go around.
Alright, so coming up we have Wulfy and Ivan hanging into Key Rat. Wulfy picking up the key. Ivan can't see it, but oh no, he thought he boomeranged the key there. It was hard to see because he did it within the dark space there. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, losing a little bit of time there, getting a little jebaited by that boomerang. It looked like it was picking up a key, but it indeed missed. It got something else, maybe a rat.
Yeah, he definitely threw it in that direction. May have just been off a little bit, but yeah, those are the small little time saves you can definitely take advantage of with the boomerang.
And so, like that, we see Trogdor is the first one to get to the Sanctuary from that race. But we'll see Ivan, by virtue of having one heart here in that beep, get just a little bit faster text scroll here in this dialogue and may be able to retake the lead. But not quite. Not quite.
So Wulfy is the first out the door with Trogdor right behind him, as well as Ivan and c0smoh. So we're looking pretty good here.
I'm glad all of the runners made it safely through that escape. Don't want to see anything untoward happen. So we'll see all four of them head over now toward Eastern. Sort of various screens, but not much separating the runners at this point. Really, all of Eastern as well. There's, again, a couple rooms and your Armos fight, but this is some of the sort of slowest but purest just generic movement throughout the run, because the runners don't yet have their boots. They cannot yet speed run.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard to notice with the naked eye here, but there's some pumping that you can do through these stairs that can save some frames. It's basically you hold up and walk up the stairs, and you can mash left and right, which is a mechanic called pumping. And it definitely can save you some time there, specifically with that last blue guard right before Eastern. You can walk right by him without having to stun him, hit him, get him out of your way, if you can pump through those stairs fast enough.
It is interesting. I've not tried that. I've always been boomeranging that blue guard, so I'll have to be mindful of that.
Yeah, it's definitely more convenient just to stun him with a boomerang. But you can also mash the directionals there up the stairs and save yourself a little bit of time.
And here Wulfy and Trogdor into the Stalfos pot room here. And Trogdor, sorry, picking up a small magic drop as well with the boomerang. We'll see it on c0smoh's screen here in just a second, but what the runners are trying to do is throw the pots, walk a specific sort of pattern to throw the pots towards some spawn points. And unfortunately, c0smoh had a little bit of trouble hitting that first one, but is able to do a good job of cleaning up with a backup with some sword slashes to keep all of the Stalfos from spawning.
You're pretty much like throwing the pot in the area that they're going to spawn in before they spawn. And like you just take out the first two of them, and it just allows you to skip the other two Stalfos from spawning. Really neat trick. It's like one of the first cool little neat tricks that you learn when starting to learn No Major Glitches. So Wulfy, Ivan, and Trogdor both all going into that anti-fairy skip. You can use a little deboost strat to pick up that pot and hit the switch, make the chest appear, different ways you can approach it. Just make sure you don't die.
Yeah, and both runners picking up some rupees there. I saw a red drop for Trogdor. It looks like Ivan also got a red drop, so they should be in good shape if they decide to do tree rupee route for having their rupees in order for pod at this point. Getting that early rupee drop gives them a little bit more freedom in terms of how they want to manage their rupees through the early part of the game, so they can pay Kiki when they get there. And we saw Ivan go for 2 pots and 10 arrows. Trogdor only getting 1 pot there. Interesting. I guess he'll be looking for, I think it's like a 7 and 8 chance of getting an arrow drop from one of these Igors here.
Yeah, arrow collecting here in Eastern is very helpful for the rest of the run and for Armos Knights in general.
He didn't get the drop, and he's going in with 18 arrows, the bare minimum, so hopefully he's able to hit all these shots. Oh, and a cool quick kill there from Trogdor. He nailed it.
So Wulfy had a pretty solid Armos fight. Ivan had a little trouble there, but he managed. And yeah, Trogdor using every last bit of arrow to get that quick kill. Very nice.
Yeah, we'll see. c0smoh coming up on his Armos Knight fight here in just a second. We'll see what sort of kill he goes for, as other runners are on their way over to get their boots. And okay, so c0smoh went for the top right to top left strat. Unfortunately, didn't quite get the positioning that he needed for that second part, but it started off very nicely, and he's able to clean it up with a backup very well and get his green pendant.
Absolutely, and we are seeing our first instance of a little bit of a route divergence here. Trogdor going for the hundo rupees in the back of c0smoh's hut. Ivan and Wulfy are going to go for that rupee route, so they're going to be counting the rupees. They're going to be pulling some trees, getting some rupees there. We'll be seeing a little bit of a difference in the route here.
Yeah, with that 20 rupee drop that Trogdor got, I thought we might have seen him go for the tree rupee route, but definitely getting those bombs, getting those 100 rupees from the back of c0smoh, really just a sure thing, and so we'll see him save a little bit of time over on his way to the Lost Woods after Hera as a result of making that choice.
Yep, absolutely. And we're also seeing the first instance of the mechanic of spin dash. Spin dash is, or no, spin speed actually is what it's called. Once you get the boots, there's a little bit of a trick you can do with the Japanese 1.0 version. You hold out your sword, charge it up, and if you release it and tap A within a frame, the second you hit those stairs, you run as if you are in dash speed. And we're going to be seeing that a few times within the run. Not a ton, but it does save a good chunk of time.
Yeah, some of the spin speeds are a little more useful than others. I think there's one that we may see here coming up in Desert that saves maybe half a second, but potentially costs quite a bit more than that. But a lot of them are, you know, pretty quote-unquote free to go for, in the sense that if you go for it, you mess it up, you can just dash, and there's, you know, a minor time loss associated with the attempt, but it's not a disaster.
Yeah, the spin speed hanging into land mo is always a heart attack waiting to happen.
Like there we saw c0smoh go for it and getting it on the second try there, but you know, probably was about time neutral with not going for it at that point. But it's super fun, honestly. If you play Link to the Past and have access to the Japanese 1.0 version and have never done spin speed, I strongly encourage you to give it a try, because it's just a blast.
So in desert, the most notable thing is to limit the damage you take and pick up specific pots that have arrows in them. You're going to want these arrows for the Lamellus fight coming up, and hopefully you can conserve some of those arrows in the Lamellus fight for the rest of the run as well. But mostly you want it for the Lammo fight coming up. There are certain pots that always have arrows under them, so it is routed accordingly that you pick those up, so that doesn't waste too much time. And we see Ivan pick up the first one there, and there'll be another one in the room right before you get the power glove as well.
There's actually 2 arrow pots in here, and we should see all the runners take both of them. And then there's
that's right.
the one late in the torch room as well, that I think we'll see. I would like to see Trogdor at least go for it. We see Ivan is very good on his arrow count right now. Same with Wulfy, and with the 3 pots, that'll also fill c0smoh up. But I think we may see Trogdor take that one.
Sitting at 5, now 10 arrows. He definitely wants to grab a few more before heading to Lammo.
Yeah, and so he's skipping the second arrow pot here. I'm very curious what we'll see him do on the Lammo fight, because the conventional strat's just to try and hit each of the 4 land mollusks with some arrows. Or each of the 3 land mollusks with 4 arrows, sorry. And that, of course, would require at least 12, but almost everyone's going to miss some shots there.
We're also seeing our first examples of the key dashes, which you can use. If you line yourself up with like specific pixels, you can actually dash right through those locked doors with a key. Really nifty and definitely a big time save if you can line it up correctly. And Ivan will be the first into Lammo. Let's see how he does with that.
Yeah, this fight is pretty much everyone's least favorite fight.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah. It's the first round is basically the most fixed of them in terms of just you know where they're going to spawn, but you still don't even know which way they're going to move or how. Oh, and okay, Trogdor going for some bomb strats because he got the closet bombs.
OG bomb strats, taking me back to my childhood.
I dig it. That's a good reason to go to the c0smoh closet there if you want to go for bomb land mollusk. I hadn't even thought of it.
Yeah, he also might have noticed he was low on arrows, so that is a good alternative if you do have the bombs to spare. Ivan being the first to finish Lamellus, Wulfy right behind him, and there goes Trogdor picking up his blue pendant, and c0smoh is right behind him.
While c0smoh enters his land mollusk fight, we're going to see Ivan and Wulfy both set up to go for fake flippers here, which basically is tricking the game into thinking you have flippers by circumventing the check. Ivan having a little trouble hitting that portal, but getting in safely, dodging the Zora.
Ooh, I almost thought that the whirlpool he was going into was the right one, but that was actually the Zora one. That's a little confusing there.
But yeah, if any of the runners were to take a hit while they were doing that, they would end up, I guess the game, depending on which screen they jumped in from, would be trying to place them back on land, not knowing where to place them, and then basically soft locking the game. And it's one of the few situations where the runners are allowed to save and quit, just for tournament reasons, but it would invalidate their runs for leaderboard purposes.
Yeah, it's never fun to soft lock in fake flippers, which the most common, I guess, instance would be is the Zora fireballs, or you just kind of veer into a Zora on accident. So
yeah, I think it's only happened to me once, and that was enough. c0smoh down to half a heart there at the end of that Landmo fight, but made it through safely. And I'm
Yeah,
surprised Cosmo's going for this this Sandman strat here. I thought we would
really
see a
close
slightly
fight.
different management of that screen. But he made it through pretty cleanly. Didn't quite get the dash there, but didn't lose too much time to it.
Yeah, not too bad at all. And Ivan and Wolfie showing off spin speed there in Death Mountain, which not only does it save time, but it definitely helps in avoiding those boulders. Oh, I don't know if Trogdor's going to get dead rocked here. We'll see. He may be able to slip by that one.
Yeah, and we see Cosmo going for fake flippers, whereas we did see Trogdor actually choose to not do fake flippers and just kind of run up by the castle. Oh no, Ivan! Oh, sorry, that was probably a purposeful death there on Hera entry. That was just a death warp.
Yeah, I think so, to get the health back up. But
he got very rough boulder and dead rock.
Yep.
RNG on his way up was at 1 health into Hera, and so yeah, not surprised to see him take a death warp there. It's just trying to watch 4 screens. You get conditioned. You see that death animation. Gosh.
Yeah, exactly. Does give Trogdor a little time to catch up, but yeah, we'll see how that affects it later on.
Yeah, all of the runners going to have to wait through this sort of auto-scroller cutscene in the tile room. Nothing... minor things can be done to speed it up there. Ivan using the boomerang to break that last one so he can hit the door as fast as possible. But other than that, there are a couple strats to kind of give yourself an input break with iframes, but really nothing to be done to speed it up.
So both Ivan and Wolfie picking up that very important bomb in that room. We're going to be using that bomb specifically for a trick coming up here. It's going to allow us to get the Moon Pearl a little bit faster than intended by using a bomb jump.
And there we saw Wolfie using sword slashes to time out or buffer the amount of time he would need in order to make that bonk. Ivan just having the timing down and going for it. I like the sword slash buffer method, honestly. I found it makes it much more consistent for me.
Yeah, it's definitely very helpful.
But the reason the runners are bonking is it widens the window in terms of Y pixels that bomb jump can be successful from 2 pixels if they were just standing still, to 4 or to 6 pixels from the edge of the ledge. So a lot less risk when setting up of actually falling in the hole and falling down a couple floors.
Oh, so both Ivan and Wolfie almost in sync taking down Moldorn. Very good fight from both of them. Wolfie was using a little bit of dash strats there. Ivan was going for sword slashes. The only part of the hitbox of Moldorn that can actually do any damage is the head, whereas you only need to do damage on the tail. So it's always like one of those weird things to try to remember. But yeah, very clean fight from both of them.
Yeah, we see Trogdor coming into his Moldorm. Hopefully Moldorm is as well behaved for Trogdor and Cosmo as for Ivan and Wolfie. Is one of those bosses that can just really eat up time if things don't go very well. So I'm hoping for a good clean fight from all the runners. And there, Trogdor has made it successfully through first try Moldorm. You don't want to see any center hole falls, that's for sure.
So both Ivan and Wolfie, they're going to be doing a little bit of a rupee route here. The first tree that they pull, or the 20 from that tree pull there, and then they're going to have to kill a certain amount of enemies so they can do another tree pull in the forest here to get, I believe it's, what, 20, 40, 60, 80 rupees. on the next one.
Yeah, that first tree pull resets the counter. And oh no, c0smoh getting mini Moldormed. The Moldorm that we did not think was so much of a threat. But thankfully not too bad of a time loss. He can just go right back upstairs. But there's a counter that resets when you pull a tree that basically counts how many enemies you've killed, and if it's at least 1, you'll get green rupees. If it's 4 or more, if you've taken damage, you'll get blue rupees, and if you've not taken any damage, you'll get red rupees. So the runners are going to try and kill exactly 4 enemies and set up to get themselves 80 rupees so they'll have money to pay Kiki.
Yep, this is all just to enter pod, which is pretty much the next actual dungeon they'll go for. So Wulfy and Ivan both bypass the mushroom, so we will not be seeing either of them pick up the powder in their route. We'll see if Trogdor picks up his mushroom on his way out.
That's a very confident choice from both Ivan and Wulfy. I love powder as a safety, so...
Yeah. Yeah, both Ivan and Wulfy are sub 130 runners, yeah. And it's right around that time mark is when you have to like shave off that minute time waste it gets. I don't know if it's about a minute, but it's a good chunk of time to go get powder later on in the run.
Yeah, something we've been seeing runners do kind of on an as-needed base for a race safety, runners that are in that sort of sub 130 time range, is lose the, I think, 1.5 or 2 seconds to grab the mushroom, but never turn it in so they can set up fake powder.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, in fact, we saw that in a match last night. It was very interesting to see.
Ivan and Wulfy both going for sort of a Pooey Night sort of variant. No Din Din today to start Agus Tower off.
Solid room from both of them now.
Yeah, they both made it through. Slightly different strats, but really well executed.
So it is important to note, while both Ivan and Wulfy are pretty much neck and neck, they are not racing each other. They are merely just part of the doubleheader here. So yeah, Trogdor and Ivan going against each other with c0smoh and Wulfy. So that's pretty much may have a factor in the decisions of what they choose to get in terms of safeties. Whether they feel confident enough they need to get powder or, you know, a bottle of net later on.
And we just saw c0smoh finish up his Moldorm fight and then get a nice spin speed there on his Death Mountain exit as he's headed over to get his Master Sword and gonna head to Aga Tower as well. Ivan into my least favorite set of Aga Tower rooms with these red guards. Wulfy also there. We'll see what RNG they get in Circle of Pots. Both of them getting good second guard RNG. Oh,
that was super solid. I love using the Bloomerang there to grab that key and just get the heck out of there before stuff goes hairy. So Ivan and Wulfy in sync heading into Aga 1 here, which could be desynced based on the blue ball RNG that Aga gives them. c0smoh getting his Master Sword, and Trogdor is almost there as well.
I don't know who it's going to be today, but I have a feeling someone's getting 7.
Oh no, don't curse him, dude!
I don't know if it's going to be one of these runners or if it's going to be c0smoh or Trogdor. I hope nobody. I hope I'm wrong. But I think we're going to see 7.
Your face is going to be on that wanted poster later.
I'll live with it.
So the first shot that Aga will shoot at you is always a returnable hit there. But after that, it is completely random.
There's 1 for Wulfy and 1 for Ivan. So we're tied up at 1-1. So
I
both
think
runners
actually,
so far.
I think actually Ivan might have 2 blue balls already.
thought he only got a blue ball in the third shot, but we will find out.
Yeah. Wow, that's insane.
There's, I want to say 3 for each runner already. And Wulfy getting a 4th. So I think this should kill for Ivan, unless I messed up the count.
Oh no, yeah, you were right.
Yes, that was 3. Wulfy on to 5. Please don't get 7 here. That would feel real bad. Okay, good. Just 5 for Wulfy. I say just, but that's kind of a bad outcome.
Yeah, right. So once they get that third one, they are guaranteed another lightning cycle from Aga. So yeah, Wulfy had to get another set of blue balls there, which wasn't too bad since they were pretty much within the same cycle. So Trogdor, I believe he only had 1 so far as well.
Yeah, 1 so far for Trogdor, as c0smoh's starting off his Agataro journey. There's 2 for Trogdor. And Wulfy and Ivan pretty close to in sync as they're making their way over toward Palace of Darkness, going to pay Kiki.
So both Ivan and Wulfy with plenty of rupees for Kiki here. Definitely manage their rupee count well as Trogdor and c0smoh whenever they make it there. So rupees are no longer a factor.
Yeah, so I see questions about c0smoh's positioning. I think c0smoh's put together a very nice race so far, actually. Taking a little fall there, unfortunately, a little bit of curse, so my bad, c0smoh. But I think he's been playing pretty solidly so far. Wulfy just has a 20-minute faster PB, so you know, Wulfy a heavy favorite into the race, but you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Still, c0smoh's still on pace for a PB regardless, so that'd be really awesome if you can pull that off.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of PBs so far this tournament, and I guarantee we're going to be seeing a bunch more. But I think c0smoh's doing a great job. So I would say he's most definitely not screwed so far. Hopefully he can get these red guards taken care of, though. These guys are jerks.
So in pod, looks like Ivan's actually using a little bit of an older route that I used to use. It's essentially grabbing keys and go to certain areas. But the big skip, or I would say trick in pod, is the hammer jump or the bomb jump to the big chest to get hammer, which does require a little bit of specific positioning, throwing some more bombs to get to that area, which will more than likely see here.
See c0smoh into his Aghanim 1 fight here very shortly. See how many blue balls he gets. So far, no one's gotten 7, thankfully.
You're safe for now.
For now. I'm a heavy favorite to be safe, but also to be wrong. Here Ivan's setting up very quickly for his hammer jump and nailing it with basically no extra buffer. That was really, really well done. Just the 1 buffer to move over to bombs from mirror, and so he's going to move back here. So actually had another free buffer.
That was really clean. Wulfy also managing to throw the bomb towards the wall before making it over there, which can save some time, but did require a few extra pause buffers there to line it up properly so he can get the bomb jump there.
Oh, and c0smoh there getting a 2nd blue ball and standing, and a 3rd, gosh. Standing vertically from Aghanim during inauguration. Oh, c0smoh.
Uh-oh.
I feel real bad right about now. think that's 4 so far.
Wulfy took a slight fall there, trying to dash off that ledge to hop over, but managed. Went ahead and reset the screen, so those enemies will go back to their original position, so he doesn't have to worry about fighting them off. But yeah, Trogdor nailing the bomb jump. He is right on Ivan's tails.
Thankfully, only 4 blue balls there for c0smoh, so I was very wrong. I'm happy to be wrong though.
Yes.
And Ivan, having sword beams here for pod basement, able to save himself a little bit of time. Wulfy is going to be in the same situation, and so I think Trogdor should also. We're going to see him fill his health here with those hearts, and should be able to use sword beams for this switch coming up.
Yeah, Ivan had a pretty solid turtle room there. Definitely not a favorite among newer runners. That room can claim a lot of lives. And Wulfy, wow, really solid turtle room as well. With Helmasaur, we'll see there's different ways you can manage this fight. You can use Hammer on the last phase against the eye. You can go for sword slashes. Hammer's definitely a little bit faster. And oh, he's got to be careful there.
And a nice clean fight from Ivan, taking 1 hit, but had had 2 more hits to give. And Wulfy also going for hammer strats, looking just like Ivan's fight, kind of getting similar phase 2 RNG, and also getting that 1 hammer hit in phase 2 before sort of taking a little bit of a Helmasaur to the face.
Yeah, he got the 1 hammer hit and was able to get a double charged sword swing by. Well, Helmasaur was charging forward, was able to kind of bounce off of Helma into the wall and get another one in there. So got really lucky there. Trogdor heading into Helma as well.
Yeah, that was a really sweet double spin hit there from the charge, recognizing that Helmasaur had come forward basically to the wall from his phase 2 movement. And Trogdor also going for hammer Helma strats and doing a great job.
Really good kill from Trogdor. That was solid. The hammer hits are faster, but it is definitely more riskier because you're inside of Helma's hitbox there, basically giving him hugs, and you just have to manage your distance so you don't get the KO.
Yeah, the hammer hitbox is very, very wonky. You'll see runners be just a little off to the left and basically almost inside of Helmasaur, and Ivan almost getting caught by the little Chibi Ridley there, those murder pterodactyls, but making it through safely. And we'll see if Wulfy's able to dodge as well. Those things are horrible and hit for 3 hearts apiece.
Super annoying. They don't leave you alone until you either kill them or leave the screen. It's one of the more annoying enemies in the game.
Yeah, Wulfy was a little more conservative with his movement there, kind of juking to the right before dashing back to the left, just making sure that he would not take that hit.
We also saw both Ivan and Wulfy, and we'll probably try to see Trogdor use what we call hammer dashing. With hammer dashing, it's a mechanic called item dashing. When you get the boots and you mash the Y item and the dash button at the same time, you essentially use both. With a hammer, it allows you to hammer through those pegs without having to hit each one individually. It definitely saves some time. Right there, Trogdor nails it as well. That is also a Japanese 1.0 glitch that we utilize in the speedrun. Very nifty little thing.
And c0smoh using some pause buffers here, going for his hammer jump. Looks good and nails it.
Nice.
I was surprised to see him go for that 2-bomb strat, but getting it very cleanly. So
yeah, I cannot get the 2-bomb strat, so that's very impressive.
Ivan has liberated his swag duck. If anyone's so inclined, throw those in chat. Wulfy about to do the same. And Trogdor is liberating his flute from the ground. He'll be doing the same shortly.
So the game, like intended, it wants you to go to crystal number 2, which is swamp next. But in the speedrun, we're not going to do that. We're going to head straight to crystal number 4 and do thieves first. And we'll see why here in a little bit.
Yeah, so until we get to swamp, we can say that this is kind of the point in the game where enemies start to hit just a little bit harder. The game expects you to have more health at this point, which of course the runners do. But also, I guess once they get to Ice Palace and subsequent dungeons, also to have a mail upgrade. So thankfully not yet, but coming very soon. The enemies are going to start hitting like trucks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you definitely notice the huge gap from pod to thieves as far as the difficulty in enemies go. So we're seeing Trogdor pick up his powder. It's going to be a good safety for him to have coming up here. Ivan, trusting his abilities, did not pick up the mushroom in the forest, so he's headed straight to thieves, and Trogdor is on his way as well.
So that'll cost Trogdor just what, 30-45 seconds or so to go
it's I believe it's about 40-ish seconds to go get powder. It's nothing too brutal, and it's one of the, I would say, the most important safety in the game for sure.
c0smoh onto his Helmasaur fight. Hopefully he can manage it as adeptly as the other runners have. 17 hits takes the mask off, and he's going for hammer strats. Helma with some jukes. Okay. Backing it up and going for a sword slash kill. And doing a very nice job.
Very nice. Managed that fight perfectly. So Thieves is one of the more straightforward dungeons in the game. You head to the back, bomb that floor, go down, get the maiden, and do all that good stuff. But again, avoiding the enemies and taking no damage is very important because of that blind fight specifically.
Yeah, blind, a lot like the Armos Knights fights. One of the fights that's pretty much completely on a script if you do it perfectly. But unlike Armos, blind can go very, very wrong very quickly if you fall off script, and so we'll see how the runners are able to manage their blind fights.
Yeah. So Ivan and Wulfy weren't able to get what we call the Hellway room here. Let's see if Trogdor makes an attempt for it. And yeah, he didn't get really good positioning there. In this room that Trogdor's in, if you can line yourself up on the very center conveyor belt there, on the exact pixel, called the God Pixel, you can dash straight through that room as long as the enemies don't get in your way.
Yeah, it's like sort of, we call it the God Pixel. It's a specific X pixel, but the enemies can still trump you. You can still get, even though it's the God Pixel, they can still make things go wrong.
Still at the mercy of RNG.
And Ivan, a little off script now with blind, but managing the fight nicely. Good sight reading there on those patterns for Ivan. Wulfy still on script into phase 3. See if he can close it out. And another nice kill.
Yeah, super solid. Absolutely.
You see c0smoh getting his spin speed here. He is heading over, now getting his hammer dash. I missed him ending up back over at the pyramid.
I did as well. I'm not sure if he died or maybe he I'm not sure what happened there. With Trogdor heading in to get his Titan's Mitt. Let's see how he eventually hits up the blonde there. So at this part in the run, we're gonna see the runners collect some rupees for a flippers purchase. There are 2 chests here, conveniently, that contain 300 in each one, which is more than enough for flippers. You grab one on the way down to get the frog here, and then you grab one on the way up to Skull. It's one of the more convenient stops you can make.
Yeah, and conveniently, I don't think Ivan or Wolfie will. I don't know about Trogdor or c0smoh. If any of the runners are inclined to also get their silver arrows and gold sword, that will give them enough money for that as well. The flippers costing 500 and the bomb for the pyramid costing 100. 600's got it covered. But we see Ivan, the first one to return the dwarf and trade in his sword, gonna get a tempered sword at a discount. And we will see, once he gets his sword back, possibly the most important time save in the run. We'll see if he can get Fence Dash here.
Yeah, it's one of the more pressing reasons we do Thieves now, so we can get that Tempered Sword earlier. Tempered Sword saves a ton of time with the boss fights coming up.
And Ivan not even going for Fence Dash. Shame. Costing him, I think, probably about 20 frames. A big reset
brutal.
point.
Rip those 20 frames.
And Wolfie also skipping his Fence Dash. These runners are hemorrhaging time right here, but that's okay.
c0smoh taking full advantage of the safeties here. Picked up the net, picked up the bottle, is turning in that mushroom for powder. He's going to be set for the rest of the run. So if anything goes hairy from here on out, he'll have the necessary tools to save him.
That is something I do like, is seeing runners, you know, acknowledge the safeties that will make their runs okay. And Ivan getting really bad Gibdo behavior here in the mummy statue room.
Yeah, arguably one of the more annoying rooms in the run here is that first room there with the Gibdos. You can approach it different ways. You can take the Gibdos out, just get them out of your way, it does cost some magic, or you can pull that statue and just kind of multitask there. It's definitely not easy, but Ivan, he managed to wait his way up there.
Yeah, Wolfie getting much better Gibdo RNG behavior. And so that kind of let him pass Ivan up there. Of course, Ivan and Wolfie are not racing one another. The matchups are Trogdor versus Ivan and c0smoh versus Wolfie. We're just doing them 2 at a time here, just to pack more excitement onto your screen all at once.
Sounds good to me. I love excitement.
And I didn't see it, so I'm just going to assume Trogdor got Fence Dash.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, nailed it, first try.
So yeah, Skull, very quick. Go and get that big key. Go back, get the fire rod. Head to Mothula, one of the most straightforward dungeons in the game. There's all these other rooms that the game wants you to, you know, second guess yourself. Is this the right way or is that the right way? But we know the right way, and it's very quick.
Yeah. Also, because the dungeon is broken up between overworld and dungeon screens, one of the least punishing dungeons to take a death in the entire run. Thankfully, because Mothula can be a real jerk sometimes. I guess the major concern being magic for this screen that Ivan's just finishing up, that mummy hellway there. And Wolfie with clean moth.
Yeah, very super clean Mothula kill from Wolfie. There's a bit of a strat you can use right at the start of that fight. If you dash into Moth, you can sometimes get a double hit by pinning Mothula against that back block there. Ivan managed to get one hit with a dash, but one thing you have to be careful with Mothula here, and Ivan is experiencing that, is Mothula will take no damage against those spikes. So you kind of have to wait for Mothula to come near you, or just manage your way up towards Mothula to hit him with swings. It's super annoying when that happens. The spikes can be a huge killer there.
Yeah, Moth can just sit in the corner and refuse to take damage, and there's very little you can do about it, so it always feels good to get that fight over with.
So c0smoh's been managing through Thieves here pretty good, not taking too much damage, and Trogdor on his way to Mothula. Now, after Thieves here, as we're seeing, or I'm sorry, not Thieves, but Skull, we're seeing Wulfy take the route from Link's house up to the portal under the pyramid here to make his way over to Catfish to get the medallion, and then eventually Flippers. It's definitely the fastest route there.
Trogdor, a little bit of an issue there in that room, just the mini Helma and Beetle and everything all ganging up and behaving badly, but given a big magic drop, and so he is in really great shape into this Moth fight.
Oh yeah,
he needs to watch his health though. Oh no!
Oh no!
Well, but
He had a really good start, but yeah, like you were saying, I'm thinking is thankfully it's not too long of a dungeon to backtrack to.
Yeah, and that full magic drop means that his magic is in good shape back into Mummy Hellway, so we are going to see him beeline it. And he does have powder, so we may see him powder this bunny beam here to refill his health.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very conveniently placed. Oh, the Wallmaster dropping down, getting in his way of the fire rod. Thank God he had another fire rod shot now.
Oh, well, hopefully. I'm just gonna shut up. I am cursing the crap out of Trogdor, and I apologize, Trogdor.
c0smoh having to manage blind on the bottom there. Oh, so close. Only had one more hit left on blind and took a death there. It's unfortunate. But just like Skull Woods, you take a death here, it's a very short trek back to blind, although it is no longer a scripted fight against blind. He'll have to manage with blind being at the top of the screen and entering from the bottom.
Yeah, Trogdor's second bout with Mothula ending in victory. Much better outcome there. So, thankfully, Mothula behaved a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. So both Wulfy and Ivan have purchased their flippers, and they'll be on their way to Ice Palace. c0smoh taking the refight here. Have to take a little bit careful because of that refight stance.
Yeah, these fireballs in Blind's fight will deal 1 heart apiece. The heads will deal 2. So, nice. There we are.
Very
Nicely
nice.
Done, c0smoh. A little bit of a clench for all of us, but
yeah, that was a good save. And like you were saying, if you're gonna take damage, try to take damage from just the fireballs and not the head or contact damage with blind itself.
And I don't remember, do the blind lasers deal 1 or 2 hearts? I think 2, but
I want to say 2, yeah. I think the only thing that does 1 is the fireballs.
Yeah, Trogdor gonna follow Ivan and Wulfy, go up, get Quake, and then probably head right for Ice Palace from Zora's domain. There's a portal there, the Zora portal, that he'll swim into. And, ooh, losing the lottery there on that Ropa screen. There's nothing you can do. Sometimes that Ropa will hit you if you dash. Most of the time you make it through cleanly, and that's why we call it the lottery. It's the lottery you do not want to win.
Wolfie with a good Stalfos room there. If you can manage to kill, well, yeah, if you can position yourself with a bomb and those 2 Stalfos, you can kill them in one shot. See if Ivan can pull it off as well.
Wolfie onto the Ice Palace bomb jump, trying to use a dash turn setup, having a little bit of trouble, and then walking off the edge. But there, gets the setup and makes it through. Just gonna take it easy and walk around the fire bar here.
Yep, good bomb jump from Wolfie. Ivan! Busting out the hover strats. This guy fails it the first time, but gets it the second time. Bravo, Ivan, bravo.
Let's get some hypes in the chat for Ivan there. That first try hover.
Very impressive. Instead of going for the bomb jump, if you can hover that, it is a little bit faster. Definitely a lot harder. Yeah, nails it, man. TLDR for hovering is using the boots. If you press and release a frame apart, I believe, you kind of trick the game into thinking that you're going to fall, but then at the last second you don't fall and you kind of just hover above those little gaps there.
Yeah, it's something I have not even started to try to learn. Wolfie dropping into Cold Stare. First of our runners to make it there. Let's see what sort of strat. Looks like a poke dash, but sort of audibling into a slash strat. And
yeah,
one of those puffs sort of leaked out. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, solid kill there. And getting the ideal here situation is to corner the Cold Stare puffs into that corner, which he pretty much did there. And we'll see Ivan do the same.
And Ivan needs to be very careful. Everything in this fight deals 2 or 4 hearts of damage, so he's now in 1-hit KO range, but okay, finishing it up. I was a little worried about that last Ice Cube scatter, but making it through. Cold, one of the places you absolutely do not want to die in an NMG run, because unlike somewhere like Thieves Town or Skullwoods, you basically have to redo the entire dungeon in Ice Palace if you take a death.
So both Ivan and Wolfie surviving Cold Stare. Probably the most disastrous of the bosses to kind of overcome there. Trogdor is on his way as well to the firebar room there. We'll see what strat he presents us with that, and c0smoh on his way to get the fire rod.
Trogdor forgetting to hit that switch, but going back for it, setting up for the bomb jump. I saw those pegs were down and I thought, what are we going to see here in Ice Palace today? But deciding to go back and get that bomb jump, nailing it, as c0smoh getting his fire rod, going to make his way to the back part of Skullwoods. And Wolfie and Ivan both headed up to get Ether so they can go over to Misery Mire.
Yep, we'll see if they also make the trek over to get Ice Rod or just wait to do it after Mire, possibly before Swamp. I mean, there's really no preference in what time you get them, but yeah, we'll see what they choose to do.
Yeah. I guess if anyone goes, or it looks like Wolfie is going for it, I was going to say we may see Wolfie skip, even though it's unlikely to take damage on the screen just because full health is so important for Mire
no.
too. But it looks like he's going for it, and I think we may see Ivan go for it too, because he's down 2 hearts. Those crabs outside have a good chance of a heart drop. And interesting. Oh, Ivan is going, looks like he's going to Swamp first.
So either Trogdor took a death there, accidental mirror or something, but he is having to pretty much redo Ice Palace here.
Yeah, I didn't catch what happened. I saw he was back at the beginning of Ice, and I was just like, what went wrong.
Basically, something bad happened.
Yeah, something bad must have happened, and so I am sorry to have missed it.
Both Ivan and Wulfy are also both going to swamp, surprisingly. Oh, he ran out of bombs. That is never fun. Solid kill for Mothula from c0smoh. Very nice.
And Trogdor back to the bomb jump here. Couple different safe spots you can hide from that fire bar, but choosing the upper left corner to then kind of make his way back around and getting through cleanly here.
Yeah, you really don't think of the fire bar being an issue with the bomb jump, but if you're in a hurry, it can be an issue.
Oh, absolutely. I've lost critical hearts to the fire bar or just gotten knocked in by it. That thing's a jerk. Not so much as this lonely one. This lonely one tends to be a little more well-behaved. c0smoh is going to go get his Quake medallion, and Trogdor is going to be onto Cold Stare. Looks like he might be farming for some hearts here, but after getting electrocuted by that jelly, kind of opting out, and he has one hit to give here from the puffs. So hopefully he's able to make it cleanly through this fight. He's
going all in here.
Oh no!
No, Trogdor. He got caught up in the puffs there, and it looked like he was gonna get the quick kill by pinning them in the corner, but they did get away from him. So now he's unfortunately gonna have a decision to make here to go farm for that magic, or potentially go do swamp maybe.
Yeah, the unfortunate situation there with sort of going for that 6/ kill is that you have a few different choices. You can either kind of turn back to the left and try and manipulate where those ice cubes are going to fall so they can't hit you and kind of wait out the puffs, or you can kind of gamble and try and flip a coin and hope that the ice cubes scatter in a way that allows you to continue slashing at the puffs. And it looked like he kind of lost his coin flip and the puffs got him, and then an ice cube hit him.
And Ivan forgot to hit the switch, heading back to get the big key. Big time loss. Very unfortunate there.
Yeah, if those pegs are down like that, you gotta go north.
Yeah, you gotta remember to hit that switch heading back over, or yeah, you see what Ivan's having to do now is he had to backtrack to that switch so he can go get the big key. That's going to give Trogdor a little time to catch up, absolutely. And then Wulfy, out of the 4 runners, is going to take a pretty chunk lead here.
Yeah, and what we saw there from Wulfy was, and having a little trouble there finishing, but we saw him line up with that statue, walk up to get the hook shot, and then walk down and to the right. And then if he'd hook shotted to the right, he would have been set up to go and get that key sort of very, very easily, but instead hook shotting down, getting snagged by that pot, or by the statue, and having to do it a little slower of a way. So we'll see a chance for Ivan to go for a kind of minor, sort of low-grade, swaggy time save.
Yep, so c0smoh heading into Ice Palace. Trogdor taking another stab here at the bomb jump.
And I was a little worried about that fire bar there, but Trogdor getting through, but low on health, so gonna have to try and kind of dodge around the fire bar, making it through. I think looks like he's farming for hearts here. I'm pretty sure he's got powder though, so I would have expected him to just kind of go up into the anti-fairy room.
Yeah, right before Cold Stare. If you have powder, it's really convenient safety there. You can get a quick and easy fairy. Just go up a room, get it, and head back down. And Wulfy with a pretty solid Argus kill there. And Ivan on his way to Argus as well.
I can understand Trogdor being extra cautious though, because I mean, death like that and sort of the tilt kind of sets in and it just does not feel good. And then being in a race situation, it's a pretty high stress spot. So
yeah,
hopefully he can make it through his cold fight here. Not taking the anti-fairy though. So just bless RNG here for Trogdor as Ivan's onto his Argus fight.
Ivan doing a good job of shortening that distance between him and Argus, so the time between it takes to get the hook shot on the puffs and to kill the puffs are a lot shorter than being at a larger distance. Oh, he was going for the fire rod quick kill there, missed it.
And there it is. Trogdor has gotten through Cold Stare. Going for a very similar 6/ strat, but the Ice Cube kind of broke in his favor and making it through cleanly.
Let's see, c0smoh has 4 bombs here to get, and there we go, gets it on the second try. Very nice.
Firebar being a little bit of a jerk there, knocking c0smoh back when he was trying to bonk around it, but you know, no harm, no foul.
Yep. So Trogdor and Ivan are pretty much separated by a dungeon. Ivan finishing up Swamp, Trogdor finishing up Ice Palace. We'll see if Trogdor can make up some time there. But Wulfy heading in, first one heading to Mire.
Has his sword beams for Mire too here. Yeah, a very nice one cycle there from Wulfy.
Yeah, gotta love having sword beams going into Mire. You can really utilize them very well in that second room in Mire. The most important thing is killing those Wizrobes as fast as possible, so you have to wait for them to respawn and then kill them.
And here we see c0smoh going up to this anti-fairy, refilling his health a little before Cold Stare.
Yeah,
I think
very good move
safety
there.
To take. This is why you grab powder for situations like this.
So Ivan grabbing his Ice Rod, something that Wulfy actually did earlier. So once Wulfy is done with Mire as well as Ivan, they can head straight up to Turtle Rock.
And ooh, c0smoh needs to be a little careful here. Okay, thankfully the Ice Cube broke in a good way there. And making it through his Cold Stare.
Ah, very good fight.
And that was roughly 108 torches there for Wulfy, so a good heuristic for sort of better runners is that's about 20 minutes from the end of the game, so he'd put himself as about on a high 127, low 128 pace. Sort of more medium-skilled runners, it might be more like 21 minutes, but a good pace, a sub 130 for sure. Assuming all holds up for Wulfy. We'll see what torch time Ivan gets.
Solid Mire 2 from Ivan as well. Really good, very well executed.
And I don't know what sort of pace c0smoh's on, but I think this has to be pretty close to PB pace for him.
Yeah, only minor hiccups for c0smoh. Nothing too major. Gotta imagine he's on a really good pace here to PB at the very least.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my splits just as a reference here so that I can get a little bit better calibration, because I just don't have all of the sort of the checkpoints memorized. But I'm curious what sort of pace he's on, because I have a feeling it's ahead of his 148 PB.
Yeah, he's on a really good pace for sure. We saw Ivan there utilize a really cool trick you can do when pushing blocks. As we're also seeing c0smoh use with a mirror, coincidentally. When pushing blocks, if you have the mirror and you're not in a dungeon, you can make that block disappear by spamming the mirror. As you move into it, it'll just kind of vanish in there. Ivan used the fire rod as he was pushing the blocks to light those torches. It's just one of those very nifty little tricks you can do. It's across all versions of the game, nothing Japanese 1.0 specific. You can also use it with a hook shot as well in certain situations.
Yeah, for some reason, moving blocks just don't seem to get in your way when you're trying to do things here. Wulfy setting up for his Vitreous, getting a 1 cycle here, not quite getting that 0 cycle, missing the arrow shot. Not sure if the arrow would have been in time anyway, but a good Vidi kill.
Yeah, very good. And making sure he had enough health to do the D-boost against Vitreous there. I know I myself primarily get the powder in my route specifically for that fight, just because the quick kill requires you to damage boost through it. If you get to Vitreous and say you don't have enough health, you kind of have to resort to arrows or a much slower fight with killing those eyes as they kind of advance towards you.
Yeah, learning a Vitreous quick kill just saves so much time. So shout out to the WQ Vidi, because it is a heck of a fight.
That is one heck of a fight, for sure. So Wulfy will be the first on his way to Turtle Rock. Ivan is trailing right behind him by a minute or two. And Trogdor's finishing up Swamp here, as well as c0smoh, who's making really good pace.
Trogdor picking up that bomb there under the skull, making sure he's set on bombs for the rest of the run. And Ivan, oh no, taking an eyeball hit, and those deal 4 a pop, so we're going to see a little bit slower of a Vidi, but hopefully he's able to manage this fight.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was talking about there earlier, is you have to take a very specific damage boost for this fight to be very quick. Luckily, Ivan has enough arrows to kind of save himself there.
Yeah, but that is going to sort of hurt his arrow situation. Later in the run, we're going to have to see him probably grab a couple more arrow safeties before he can do Ice Armos.
All right, Ivan takes out Vitreous. Trogdor takes down Argus with a pretty solid kill there. And c0smoh not too far behind.
Yeah, Wulfy has taken down the Turtle Rock entrance. And I don't think that was a Quake Dash.
Oh, Rip Quake Dash.
Yeah, shucks. But yeah, the Vitreous goo deals 1 heart, and the eyeballs deal 4. So the way runners are going to be trying to do that fight is they're going to try and stand in the goo, get iframes, and then walk into the eyeballs and fight the eyeballs. And then just kind of rinse and repeat over and over until all of the eyeballs are gone. Unfortunately, Ivan took that damage from the eyeball, and so it left him with only 2 hearts. So from 2 hearts, the prospect of deboosting, or using iframes rather, to stay in the goo longer, didn't seem all that palatable.
So Trogdor is going to be heading up to get the Ether Medallion, so he can head into Mire. And Wulfy in the dreaded Chompy room. Let's see how he manages this one.
I love that cane block strat there, and doing a good job waiting out the Chomp RNG.
Yeah, he got a really bad look from those Chompies there, so he decided to just use the c0smoh block to hit the switch up there. Nice spin speed hammer peg there from Ivan, saving a little bit of time.
Did he go for spin speed there? I saw he had super speed. Most runners will do hook speed there.
Yeah, he went for the spin speed there.
Huh.
Yeah, if you can manage the speed in that little bit of distance, it's pretty good.
Trogdor gonna go get his Ice Rod. c0smoh onto his Argus fight. He's gonna try and keep that distance pretty low between himself and the Puff, so that it takes less time to hookshot these over. And just try and keep his health in good situation. But needs to get out of that corner.
Yeah, which is also another reason why we go do Thieves second crystal, so we can have Tempered for this fight. Master Sword, it takes 2 hits per puffball, and Tempered just takes 1, so it definitely limits the time in this fight. I've been using pretty good hookshot strats there on those roller pins, so that he can pass through them without taking any damage.
Yeah, we see Trogdor with an opportunity for a bird toss here, but I wouldn't go for it in Trogdor's situation. I think that he's got more pressing things to attend to, and Ivan getting chomped on, but his health's in good shape and he makes it through.
Yeah, that was a little rough, but yeah, he had a good amount of health there to survive it.
And Trogdor has sword beams, but used a fire rod there for that that first Popo in Mire 2. I think it may have thrown him off a bit.
And really nice dash there from Wulfy on the laser bridge. The laser bridge, you just have to go to that last chest on the left, get that key so you can proceed, and manage the dash at the right time so you can pass through the laser and get that. It's really a lot harder than it looks, for sure.
Ivan getting the fairy drop there pretty much right on time on his way to the big key. That's something we didn't really get to talk about earlier, but the runners have been managing the prize packs that the Pokies are in basically since Aga Tower, so that they would be able to set up a fairy drop for Turtle Rock, as well as if they wanted a full magic drop. Those two things are kind of right next to each other in that prize pack, and can be really, really valuable to get here on your way. And there we see that full magic drop in for Ivan.
Yep,
it's a 50% drop. And it can be really useful to have, especially if you aren't taking powder and you're in T-Rock.
Yeah, for sure. That fairy comes huge if you do a no powder route. And Wulfy with a very solid Trinex kill, who is on his way to Ganon's Tower.
Trogdor remembering Mire Big Key, so he is going to be on his way to get his Cane of Samaria, which he will need for exactly 1 room, but he will probably also use in T-Rock because screw hovering those things.
Yeah.
But really only absolutely necessary for Mire Basement. A lot of items you really only need for one thing: Ice Rod for Trinex, and Samaria for Mire Basement being kind of the poster children of that problem. But well, they'll do it.
So, yep, c0smoh heading into Mire as Ivan gets a very nice laser dash there. Very good.
Yeah, Ivan's health in good sorts here into the Trinex fight, so everything should be good. Nice cane dash there.
Love that cane dash. That is one of the very cool item dashing strats that you can do, like I explained earlier, using the Y item and dashing at the same time. In that situation, it can make that room a little bit faster.
And wulfy is already into Ganon's tower, so he's built a substantial lead. But wulfy's PB, a 128.35. I'm gonna put wulfy on PB watch right now.
And he was a little bit in the red, I could see from his timer heading out of T-Rock, but he can definitely save some time here, I think.
It would take a good GT.
Yeah, and really good Trinex heal from Ivan. That was solid. So the most important thing to note going into Ganon's towers, we're seeing wulfy do, is your arrow count. You need you're gonna have to do an Armos refight, so you need to have at least 18 arrows when you get to Armos. But there are also Igors or the mimics you have to worry about later on. So you definitely have to keep an eye on your arrow count heading towards Ice Armos and making sure to accommodate for those rooms as well.
Yeah, and Trogdor taking an eyeball hit here, down to 4 hearts. So no eyeball hits to give. Hopefully he gets out of the way for this lightning. Okay, lightning's only 2 hearts. We're safe.
Yeah, and luckily he had like an extra set amount of arrows as well. So
yeah,
very nice from Trogdor. Good save.
It's good to know that lightning only deals 2. I was worried that it dealt 4 as well, and that that was not going to break his way, but makes it through okay. And wulfy, nice Ice Armos.
Very solid Ice Armos there.
Exactly enough arrows. We'll see him grab this chest here to have enough for the mimics before mirroring.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay if you run out there, because that chest guaranteed 10 arrows. See a lot of people just grab that just in case. Yeah, conveniently placed as well.
We saw Ivan there holding his sword out while he was climbing the stairs into GT. Not something we see a lot of people do. Also taking the torch key, so rip Bob.
Yeah, Ivan and wulfy both took that as well, yeah.
A lot of runners will skip that torch key and get either the sort of ring of switches key in the chest or the mini Helmasaur key in the upstairs of Ganon's tower.
Nice bloomerang strats from Ivan. Throwing that bloomerang down and then hookshotting to the pot makes the bloomerang hit the switch. But at the same time, you're using the hookshot, so the pegs do not get in your way, which is a very nifty little strat. As wulfy heads into the first room of the gauntlet with 3 arrows left there, he's going to have to manage a little bit.
Yeah, we'll probably see more... oh, that Stalfos room RNG for wulfy was sick.
So good. So good.
And then, of course, the blue horses, or whatever they are, were just jerks. Really bad RNG, that room. But that Stalfos room was killer.
Yeah, it was really good. Ivan opted to not skip that portal to get the arrows in the that little warp room there. That pot has a guaranteed 5-arrow pickup. So really good. And he's going to pick up the arrows from there. And he might pick up these arrows too. Yes, he does.
Shoutouts to Smooth Audio. I have no idea when we switched to wulfy's audio, but here we are.
Yeah, and with a very solid Lambo kill, 0 cycled it. Really solid kill there. The Lambos take 2 fire rod shots to kill. and one spin of the Tempered Sword equates to one Fire Rod shot. So really good kill from wulfy. c0smoh backtracking a little bit to get that fairy for Vitreous. Very smart move, and we'll see him tackle on Vitreous here.
Yeah, also going for a spin kill here. Looks like sort of not exactly the WQ fight, but something kind of like it. Just taking the intentional damage here, and oh, gotta look out for that lightning.
Gotta be careful. Oh, so
and
close.
Yeah, he should be good now.
Yeah, he's definitely playing it a little bit risky there, but he had the health to do it, so that was good. Good torch room from wulfy. Got through there pretty quickly. Ivan on his way there.
Trogdor coming up on his chomp's room. Hope for good chomp behavior today. And an 8 bomb drop there. Just a courtesy from that pokey.
Yeah, he was a little late on hitting that second c0smoh there, but he had the right idea to use the iframes that the pegs pop up under you to negate the chompy damage. And wulfy, with a solid Moldorm 2 fight, is on his way to Aga 2. Really good timing here.
Yeah, wulfy looking in good shape to get this sub 130 locked up. So that is a great run. Hopefully he can close it out here. He's on to his geometry quiz. Gonna try and get that double triple. And that's kind of a rude pattern.
Oh, c0smoh got dead rocked. Really bad spot.
And the double triple, not even possible. So he'll go for this 3-round here, and
hey,
nicely done.
That pattern there, though, that was very favorable. I love that.
And oh, c0smoh getting a little bit dead rocked here, and then the boulders rain down. What is this nonsense screen?
Worst best enemy in the game, right there. I like the setup that Trogdor just did, going into the pokey room, charged up, and super solid room, man. That was really good.
Yeah, getting that fairy and that magic refill drop.
Yeah, that was just beautiful. I might have to steal that from him. That was really good.
And wulfy going for some poke dashes here. Hope he can clean up with this 1-and-1. I think he's on pace to do it, but needs to be careful health-wise. But yeah, so far a good fight.
Yeah, if you can manage to kind of do dash cancel attacks against Ganon inside the ring of fire bats there, really, really cool strat there.
Okay, so Ivan prepping us in chat a little, saying this one's for my boy Sturlar. Shoutouts to Sturlar from Ivan. We'll see what he's doing. I think we might see a Moldorm 2 hover here.
wulfy getting the torch glitch, very good. Only has to manage a little bit, has to watch his health, but he is on a good pace here.
Oh yeah, there it was. Nice, Ivan. Nicely
Very
done.
nice.
That was a first try Moldorm 2 hover. Sick stuff.
Gotta love the hover strats.
And wulfy just a few spins away.
Good move there to avoid the fire bat from that. Might have knocked him off if he stayed there. So good, good fast thinking there. And that is a GG for wulfy, who finishes. We'll get an official time here in just a minute. Very solid Ganon kill, as Ivan finishes up at Aga 2 as well and is on his way to Ganon.
And c0smoh dodging some rollers here. These rollers would kill him if he took a hit here, so good on him just dodging. But GG to Wulfy.
It finishes with an official speedracing.tv time of a 129.15, the sub 130. GG, my man.
Yeah, that is 40 seconds off of PB.
Oh,
that is a really good run from
really,
Wulfy.
really good run to be 40 seconds off.
And Trogdor on to his second phase Trinex, getting that double spin and the slash. Really clean, at least second phase of Trinex. Looks like the fight overall went pretty good. And Ivan into phase 3 of Ganon. c0smoh had a fairy in a bottle, so getting a little bit of mileage out of his safety here. Definitely now a time save, getting that bottle in net and putting a fairy in there for c0smoh, so good on him taking the safeties.
Alright, so we're going to be joined with Wulfy here in just a minute for a post-race interview.
And welcome to Wulfy, winner of not only his match, but the whole four-way here. So GG, Wulfy.
Hey, thanks.
Yes, GG Wulfy. Solid run, man. Only less than a minute off PB there. Really, really good execution all the way through. How did you feel about it?
Not too bad of a run. I got golds in Skullwoods and Mire.
Oh, wow. That's really nice. I guess I'm curious, how many attempts do you have on your splits at this point?
No, I'm not sure. I think it's 200 something.
Okay, so yeah, golds are quite a deal then.
Very nice. Yeah, absolutely. Ivan coming in here, only a few more hits. And there's the final one for Ivan. Very solid run for Ivan as well, who is going to be finishing with a very good time there.
Yeah, I mean, Ivan finishing with an official speedracing.tv time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, 45 seconds. So GG to Ivan, right around 2 minutes over PB. So another good run, and really minus the little situation in Swamp Palace, no major mistakes, and that made up for a large part of that time loss. So very good run. GG to Ivan. Meanwhile, c0smoh making his way through Turtle Rock, and Trogdor finishing up the basement of Ganon's Tower, finding his way over to his Ice Armos fight. So both of our runner-up players in these races doing a good job of finishing up. It looks like c0smoh may have taken a wrong turn or two here in the maze, but he is back on track and made it through A-OK. And looks like we have been joined now by Ivan as well, our top match winner. So GG, Ivan.
Hey, thanks.
Nice displayment of our hover strats there as well. As well as also finished just a few minutes past PB. How did you feel about your run, man?
It was okay until Skullwoods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accidentally, I just assumed that I hit A, and apparently I didn't when I wanted to open the big key chest. So I did the mummy room again. And then apparently I completely forgot to hit the peg switch in Swamp. So that was my surprise when I fell.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that we noticed that were one of the only minor really missteps was that, and in Skullwoods. I mean, we've all forgot to hit that switch a couple times, and it's always like a head pawn there. But you definitely finished off strong, man. Very good race.
And we see Trogdor there taking the red mail safety. That's going to make Upper Ganon's Tower and the Ganon fight substantially safer at the cost of not all that much time. Not something we see too often, but it's always good to to see when runners decide that red mail's the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Ivan, this was your first match in the group.
Yes.
Also getting your first win. That's definitely got to feel good. Get a win off the top there. Do you have anything to look forward to with your other matches coming up?
I know I have the one scheduled with Runner Watcher on Tuesday, I think. That should be a fun match. I haven't talked to Mashy about scheduling one yet, but I'm sure we'll get it done eventually.
Yeah. Cosmo. Took a death to Trinex there. Did not have a ferry, unfortunately.
Yeah, he did bomb out the hole here at the bottom of the laser bridge, so it won't be too bad for him to get back.
Yeah. But also pretty much the same for you, Wulfy. This was also your first match in your group as well. So yeah, really good to come off on top with a win there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Trogdor did have a match earlier today, so he's and he did get the win there. So he's sitting at 1-1. You can definitely hope for definitely better luck on the next one to go 2-1 to advance. But yeah, really good run from both of you guys. You and both Ivan and Wulfy, you two were pretty much neck and neck, even if you weren't against each other the entire race. Even though you both did take a little bit of a route divergence with one going to get ice rod at different times and medallions and whatnot, but it really came down to just like Ivan, he had the issues with Skull and whatnot. Yeah, really good from both of you guys.
And unfortunately, Cosmo taking another death there, but now with full magic, is able to powder the ferry or powder the anti-ferry and replenish his bottle supply, and also maybe replenish his health here off this some of these other anti-ferries. So hopefully that'll set him up for a nice safe Trinex this time around. Oh no, not even going for it, just the one ferry. So hopefully Trinex treats him better this time. Good land mode too from Trogdor there.
Yeah, Cosmo is definitely still, if he can manage to get the kill here, he's definitely still be on a good PB pace. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as well.
And showing off backdoor Trinex strats there. Needs to be careful to hit some of these shots on this particularly agile ice head. And getting bitten there by the main head, but he does have that ferry in a bottle, so things should go okay from here.
I don't know if I don't know if that's enough magic for another fire rod shot, but
no,
yeah, it wasn't.
He was playing it. He was cutting it pretty close. And yeah, unfortunately, not enough magic is one of the ways that Trinex fight can go wrong. So hopefully he can make it through this time. Thankfully, that is enough magic to powder an anti-ferry, so... And getting a ferry drop from the mini Helmosaur. Trogdor is on to his Moldworm 2 fight. Cleanly handled. No hover here, but not unexpected. Cosmo gonna need to be careful with some of these shots here. And I don't know if he has enough magic to finish this fight again.
Unfortunately, will not. So we'll have to do this fight again.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but I think he's gonna get the Death Warp Fairy. Yeah, there it is. Unfortunate fairy. But mirroring out at this point.
Trogdor almost had a triple there to start with. He managed to get a 2. Oh, and then misses that last shot there. I believe he's only 1 shot away, too. He just needs to get 1 more.
No! Why I get 2? Why? Okay, it was more than 1 he needed, but got 1 more.
There it is.
There we go.
And c0smoh taking another shot here at Trinex. See if he can get him here. Trogdor having a little fun there. Why not?
Yeah, just strafing back and forth. Nothing to see. Hopefully Trogdor's able to close it out with a good Ganon fight. I think if the Firehead goes down here, yeah, c0smoh, if he nails these Fire Rod shots, should be okay, but also needs to manage his health, and gonna have to dodge that head. There. Oh, and missing his last Fire Rod shot. Oh my gosh. Feels for c0smoh. Let's get some bless RNG in the chat, because
Trinex is just
a
jerk. He's just a big jerk.
Absolutely. Nice Fire Bat dodges there from Trogdor.
Yeah, I almost thought he was gonna skip this this Fire Bat cycle here, but he was just short, maybe a hit or 2 there. So he'll be able to skip it on this one there. There we go.
Yeah, safely on to Ganon Phase 3, so really the only risk is a fall off the edge or a Ganon hug at this point. I guess Fire Bats could go wrong, but this is the relatively safer part of the fight.
There we go. Much better positioning on Trinex this time around for c0smoh. The ideal situation there is to kind of pin the head against the wall there, and I cursed him. That's my fault.
Oh, but there's the fairy.
Okay, you did get the fairy. Okay.
A little debated there. I forgot about the fairy this time. And dodge the head, and we're back to phase 2 of Trinex again. And there's enough hearts for 1 hit, so
and
not getting double
revenge
spin, but there it is. Frustration slashes all around. But Trinex is gone.
Really good refight there. That's kind of the ideal situation you want, is to limit your space between the heads so you can get some quick slashes on him. And Trogdor with a very solid Ganon fight there, finishes up.
That was a nice fight there from Trogdor, getting through Ganon and finishing his race. Trogdor dunning, or clicking the done button with an official speed racing TV time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 43 seconds. GG to Trogdor, who will now move on to 1-1 in his tournament group experience.
Yeah, let's see if we can get Trogdor in here for a interview as well.
Yeah, hopefully he chooses to come chat with us. I want to congratulate him on the persistence after the frustrations of Ice Palace. And meanwhile, we'll get to cheer on c0smoh here, whose audio we now have as he enters Ganon's tower.
Yep, his arrow count looks good. So he doesn't worry about that. Just execution is the key thing here in Ganon's tower from start to finish.
And skipping that torch key, so he will have to get one upstairs, but not an issue, just an observation. Going around again here, playing some more whack-a-mole, just to get that right side push.
So Trogdor is going to opt out. He's probably had a long day. This is his second race for the day. And GG to him. We'll see him in his next race.
Absolutely. GG again to Trogdor.
Takes a lot of energy there to do 2 races in one day.
Yeah, I can barely do 2 full runs of this game in a day, let alone under racing conditions. So good job to Trogdor. And c0smoh dodging that fire bar there with a bonk against the top block with a dash turn. I don't know that I'd seen that in a little while.
Yeah, it's if you're not comfortable with like the hook shot strat there, if you just kind of go down there and bonk against the wall, it's a little bit more consistent because the hook shot does require a little bit more timing. But yeah, it's like one of the first strats I did for that room.
We'll see. He might be going for some arrows here. No, he's taking a very interesting route through these portals, but makes it through.
Yep, still has enough arrows. He's going to grab a 5er there. So he's up to 27 arrows heading into c0smoh, which is more than enough what he'll need. And then also for the Igors coming up. And grabs that 10 as well. So he's maxed out. He's good to go.
30 arrows, 9 bombs, full hearts. I think there might... No fairy in a bottle right now, but could happen soon. c0smoh is loaded for bear at this point.
The c0smoh's fight is a little similar to the Eastern Palace fight. You're just in a different position there, and you have to worry about the ice ground. But you can still kind of manage to kill them in that clockwise formation there.
Yeah, the big difference, of course, being the hook they throw at you, being it is in fact on ice this time. You have to do the refight of your first 3 pendant dungeon bosses on your way through Ganon's Tower to kind of show that you've mastered everything, but they kind of change each one of them up just a little bit. Armos gets to be on ice, and Landmolus gets an extra nasty fireball thing. And so, let's see. Okay, good. I was going to say c0smoh getting a little trapped there by those switch blocks. And then Moldorm, of course, is on that small sort of bat-shaped platform. So all of the bosses just a little worse than the first time around, but by the time you get here, you've got all your sweet gear, so you're well equipped to take care of them. c0smoh on to his second Mimic's room. Having a little bit of trouble. That BMO's taken one for the team there, unfortunately.
Oh, runs out of arrows, and alright, gets that 5er there.
Good thing he knew that 5 was waiting for him there.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more annoying rooms in Ganon's Tower, those Igors there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I have another commitment that I need to go and address here in about 30 seconds or so. And so I'm going to take a second and say thank you for letting me commentate, and good luck to c0smoh as he finishes up here into Ganon Ball Z. Hopefully grabs the safeties here. It looks like he's setting up for that. But yeah, thank you, S-Diesel, for letting me join you this evening. And GG, congrats to both Ivan and Wulfy. GG as well to Trogdor. And thanks, chat, for keeping me in check. I'll say follow the runners, follow Speed Gaming 1, where we are right now, and also Speed Gaming's 2 through 5. Lots of good races, and lots of good A Link to the Past content from everyone participating here. So,
absolutely, man. Thank you for joining me. It's been fun. Appreciate it, and have fun with your upcoming con there.
All right. Yep. Take it easy, and yeah, good luck to c0smoh. Finish strong, man. Sorry I couldn't stick this one out.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks again, man. Appreciate it. So thank you again, Maniacal. As c0smoh is gonna finish up the last few rooms here in the gauntlet, utilizing those arrows effectively. And that's like one of the big things is going through Guinness Towers, your arrow count. It definitely helps in these rooms. So you don't have to make your way all the way to the enemies to kill them. Can place a timely, nice arrow shot. Is all those rooms require you to kill the enemies to proceed. And he's also going to take the fairy here. Very good move. His health was looking a little low. That is going to change the spawn pattern here of Lamellus. Oh, but a nice double spin against both of them. Very good. Yeah, Tempered Sword does a ton of damage to the Lamellus, so he's definitely using those very well. Definitely want to charge up and use the spins. Oh, took a fall there, but did manage to get the c0smoh against those Wizrobes there. Very nice strat. And he's going to try to do it again here in this next room. Oh, just barely missed that last one. Oh, almost fell off there again, but he was a little late, it looks like. Oh yeah, it was the first top one. He will have enough magic to redo this room, but it looks like, yeah, he's going to switch to lamp. Lamp uses less magic, so he doesn't run out of magic in the torch room. Falls, so he respawns at the door. And he's going to switch to fire rod right here. Very nice. And then make sure to get that big magic in the top right there. Oh, definitely had to be very careful there. Another laser would have been KO all the way back to the beginning of Ganon's Tower. Oh, he's gonna have to go back and get a key from one of those mini Helmas there. Hopefully he remembers to do that before he dies. But I think he might be actually going for this health here first. Oh, and I forgot there's a key there. That's right. My brain is warped from Rando. Took a fall from Moldorn there. Not a huge fall there. Moldorn only takes 2 hits with a Tempered Sword. Two spins, more like it. Oh. I wasn't able to touch on it earlier, but he was kind of using a little mechanic that you can use. If you hold out your sword against really the only hitbox of Moldorn that can do you any damage, you'll kind of bounce off of Moldorn's head with your sword. If you think you're going to fall off the side of the edge there, if you hold in the opposite direction against Moldorn, you can kind of just bounce between Moldorn and the edge and won't fall off. It's a good safety mechanic there. As c0smoh heads into the Aghanim 2 fight, let's see how bad or well he's going to treat him here. Oh, so almost got a really good triple there. That would have been really good. And there we go, the final hit. Aghanim 2 there. So c0smoh will be heading into the Ganon fight at a 154. Definitely can sub to this if manages to get it in the first fight here. Oof. Took a Ganon hug there and a hit from the spear. But he does have a fairy on hand. c0smoh is on to the second phase for Ganon. He's going to be taking a little bit careful here with the fire bats. These fire bats can do about 4 hearts of damage. Took like 3 or 4 hearts of damage there. You just got to be a little careful. Yep, a little close there. That was about 3 hearts. You can pin yourself between Ganon and the wall and use a spin attack, and you can actually get the double spin hits on him if you can position it just right. Hookshot is also very helpful in this fight. Using Hookshot can allow you to pass through the fire bats. As c0smoh enters into the third phase, which just requires 1 hit per warp. Whenever Ganon decides to stop warping. Oh, so close. He was going for the torch glitch, but he had to dodge out of the way of that fire bat at the last second, or it would have been death. So he's going to have to expend a little bit more magic than he intended to. You have to light that left torch before the right one goes out in order to keep the right one lit. So we'll have to do a little bit of magic management here. And unfortunately takes a Ganon hug there. And we'll have to start that fight over. Does not opt to go for a magic refill. He's pretty much banking on getting the torch glitch this time around. If you can manage to get that torch glitch, yeah, you really don't have to worry too much about magic management. You can rely on the lamp to keep the torch ignited. As long as you get that glitch, you're good. Oh no, and he takes another hit from Ganon. Just barely on the right side of him there. And I'm looking at Speed Racing TV, and it looks like c0smoh is going to opt out to not finish the fight within the race. Definitely fatigue setting in there in the end. Definitely gave it a very good shot, though. Almost had it right there on the first fight. It was definitely a very good shot, very good try from c0smoh as well. Let's give him some support here in chat. Very good try, my man. See if you would like to join us for an interview. Well, while we wait for see if Cosmo wants to join us very briefly for an interview, we'd like to remind everybody of our current races going down. Up next, we have on Speed Gaming 1 here. We have the Mega Man X4 semifinals coming up, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be a good one. We also have on our other Speed Gaming channels, on Speed Gaming 3 currently, is the Super Metroid Multi-Category Tournament. As well as on Speed Gaming 4, we have the Super Mario Sunshine Any Percent Tournament. There's a chock full of day of NMG matches today as well. Yep, looks like Cosmo is going to opt out. We'll see him in the next race, though. Good race, my man. I've seen a lot of good determination from you as well as our other racers. So I'll go ahead and make this brief. Thank you to Wulfy. Thank you to Ivan. GG on your wins. Thanks to Trogdor, who had did his second race today against, well, it was the second race of the day, this against Ivan, who got his win earlier today against Mashy, so he's sitting at a 1-1. Ivan and Wulfy both taking their first wins as well. But thank you to Maniacal, who joined me earlier. Appreciate the support, and thank you guys for watching. I am S Diesel. We are going to go ahead and head over to the Mega Man X4 semifinals. So stay tuned and watch that. And I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching, guys.